Imagine finding an ancient forgotten city, completely swallowed by the jungle. In 1800, a British surveyor named Colonel Colin Mackenzie stumbled across a sprawling rocky basin in South India. What he found wasn't just a few old buildings. He found the skeleton of a mega city, a city with massive stone platforms, intricate water canals, and towering temple gateways. A city that 500 years ago was one of the wealthiest, most powerful empires on the planet. Welcome to the City of Victory. Welcome to our topic, Vijayanagar. Let's rewind to 1336. According to legend, two brothers named Harihara and Bukka founded this empire on the banks of the Tungabhadra River. The empire grew massively, stretching across the entire southern peninsula. Its beating heart was the capital city, locally known as Hampi, named after the region's goddess Pampa Devi. The kings of Vijayanagar, known as Rayas, weren't just warriors, they were brilliant businessmen. They knew that to win wars, they needed the best cavalry in the world. So, they built massive trade networks, bringing in powerful Arabian and Central Asian war horses. When the Portuguese arrived by sea in 1498, the Rayas immediately started trading for advanced muskets and artillery. Because of this booming trade in spices, textiles, and precious stones, Vijayanagar became obscenely wealthy, and the Rayas used that wealth to build a city unlike anything the world had ever seen. First, let's look at the defenses. This wasn't just a city with a wall around it. It had 7 concentric lines of massive stone fortifications. And here is the genius part. They didn't just wall in the buildings. They walled in massive tracts of agricultural farmland and forests. Why? Because if an enemy army surrounded the city to starve them out, the people inside could just keep growing their own food indefinitely. Next, let's look at the water. The climate was incredibly dry, so the rulers engineered a highly sophisticated hydraulic system. They built massive reservoirs like the Kamlapuram tank and dug the Hiriya Canal to pull water directly from a dam on the river, feeding the city and the farms all year round. Quick break. If you are captivated by these ancient empires and want to master every single chapter in your syllabus just like this, hit that subscribe button right now. Thousands of students are learning with us every day, and we don't want you to fall behind. Let's go. Now, let's walk into the royal center. This wasn't just where the king slept, it was a theater of power. One of the most famous structures here is the Mahanavami Dibba. Imagine a massive, beautifully carved stone platform that once supported a towering wooden pavilion. During the great Hindu festival of Mahanavami, the king would sit up here and watch a spectacular display of his empire's might. Wrestling matches, martial demonstrations, religious sacrifices, and massive military processions. It was pure intimidation and glory. Nearby stands the Lotus Mahal, a beautiful pavilion blending Hindu architecture with graceful Indo-Islamic arches. Finally, we reach the sacred center. For the Rayas, temples weren't just places to pray, they were massive hubs of economic and political power. The kings poured unimaginable wealth into building towering monumental gateways called gopurams. These were so massive they dwarfed the actual shrines, acting as giant billboards of imperial power visible for miles. They built incredibly ornate structures like the Vithala temple and massive pillared market streets where merchants from across the globe would trade their goods. But how did the king actually control an empire this massive? He couldn't be everywhere at once. So, they invented the Amara Nayaka system. The king gave massive territories to top military commanders called Nayakas. These commanders collected taxes from the local peasants and used that money to maintain giant armies of elephants and horses. They sent an annual tribute to the king and kept the empire secure. But this brilliant system was also the empire's ultimate downfall. The empire hit its absolute peak under its most famous ruler, Krishnadevaraya. But after he died in 1529, the central government weakened. Those powerful Nayakas started acting like independent kings. Tensions boiled over, and the aggressive policies of the chief minister, Ramaraya, infuriated the neighboring Deccan sultanates. In 1565, the sultanates united and launched a massive attack. At the catastrophic Battle of Talikota, the Vijayanagara army was utterly crushed. The magnificent city of victory was sacked, looted, and completely abandoned to the jungle. Today, the ruins of Hampi stand silent. The wooden palaces burnt long ago, and the voices of the ordinary people, the traders and the soldiers, are lost to time. But the towering stone gopurams and the massive platforms remain, a haunting, beautiful reminder of an empire that once ruled the south.